Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone who watching this. My name is Norzatil Yumni binti Sabar, students from UITM Segamai. Without any delay, let's dig into capital structure with me. Capital structure is a combination of equity and debt that will use to finance overall operation and growth of a business, such as to purchase assets, to pay wages and rent, and other costs that associated with keeping the business operating. When deciding whether to finance operation with debt or equity, companies must make compromises and management must balance the two to establish the best capital structure. Finance manager must come up with a capital structure that works best for that particular business. In this case, they need to make decision whether it is necessary to employ more debt financing to protect ownership and achieve a larger return, or it is more necessary to employ more equity to financing to avoid excessive debt and bankruptcy. The greater the debt component in relation to other sources of capital, the greater the financial leverage of the businesses. For instance, when the amount of an asset is 1,000 ringgit, the business choose debt to finance 600 ringgit of the asset and another 400 ringgit is financed by equity. This is when high leverage takes place. On the other hand, if the business choose 600 ringgit financed by equity and another 400 ringgit financed by debt, this will lead to low leverage. Moreover, as most of us know, cost of equity refers to dividend rate and cost of debt refers to interest rate of particular loan. Both costs of equity and debt will somehow affect the risk of financial stability of a business. If debt-equity ratio is 20/80, it conveys that the asset is financed by 20% of debt and 80% of equity, so it will lead to lower risk of capital structure. On the flip side, if debt-equity ratio is 80/20, it conveys that the asset is financed by 80% of debt and 20% of equity, therefore it will lead to higher risk of capital structure. Factors that will affect capital structure decision comes from three sources, which is general factors, internal factors, and external factors. One of the general factors is management control over the business, as the equity shareholders can participate in decision making through the chosen body of representative known as the board of directors. Equity shareholders are considered the true owners of the corporation. Risk is also one of the general factors of capital structure decision. The larger the debt proportion, the greater the company's financial risk in terms of fixed costs and timely repayment of principal. Other important general factors of capital structure decision are definitely the financing purpose. These capital structure decisions are developed with the objective of financing in consideration. The internal factors is growth and stability of the business. Throughout the early stage of development, a company's financial needs can be met by long-term financing methods such as boosting equity shares. Then, when the company begins to receive positive feedbacks and its cash inflow capacity is expanded through sales, it can raise debt or preference capital to fund its development and expansion plans. Next, internal factors is the cost of capital. The goal of understanding the cost of capital is to improve investment returns so that a business could repay its lenders with enough profit to cover interest and principal installments. Cash flow also one of the internal factors. The capital structure decision will have a direct impact on a business cash flow ability. The ability of a business to generate cash flow increases the freedom of the finance manager when deciding on capital structure. A business reputation is enhanced by cash created by the business or the availability of a constant supply of cash. As the last source of factors that affect capital structure decision is external factors, investors are one of the external factors. The investor's behavior has changed a short time ago. Investors are becoming more conservative about their investments. The country's political and socio-economic circumstances cause investors to be extremely cautious in their investment management. Financial distress is a circumstance in which a business or individual is unable to earn enough profit or earnings as they incompetent to clear up their financial commitments. Interest payment on debts, loss of potential future returns from the second best unselected project, and inefficient workers are all examples of expenses that must be paid. Companies in financial difficulties may have a tough time obtaining new funding. They may also discover that the firm's market value has declined as consumers reduce new orders and suppliers alter delivery terms. However, there are several signs that the business needs to take note and immediate action before it gets worse. The first warning sign is cash flow problems. Cash flow problems is when the business faces persistent lack of cash. If this problem could not be solved, the business may go through difficulties in surviving. As the COVID-19 hit all around the world, most of the business having a financial distress as a result of declining sales. Yes, perhaps the business could boost their sales after this pandemic subside, but it may take some time before the rainbows come. There is always a way out from a darker side as there are ways to overcome financial distress. First thing to do is reviewing the business plan. This must contain both operations and market performance as well as a deadline for achieving all of their target project. Next is figure out where you can save money. This could entail laying off employees or reducing managerial incentive. Certain businesses may want to restructure their debts. Businesses that are unable to meet their obligation might use this process to restructure their debts and adjust their repayment terms in order to enhance their liquidity. When debt increases, there will be a trade-off between the interest tax shield and cost of financial distress, or in other words, bankruptcy costs. It will then cause an optimal capital structure. The top curve represents the tax shield gains of debt financing, and for the bottom curve represent that minus the cost of financial distress. Agency cost of equity occurs when the management and shareholders are disagreeing with each other. Management may be interested in taking below the optimal standard decision, whereas the shareholders assume that those decisions might not give any benefit to them, such as an increasement in their value of shares. In that case, the costs that arise within the process are referred as agency cost of equity. From corporate finance perspective, pecking order theory is used to help businesses or financial managers especially to decide which source based on hierarchy, where the first level is internal financing, followed by debt, then equity financing to finance the operations of the business. Internal financing is the top choice because there will be no cost incurred if the business chooses that for business operations financing. While that comes the second type is because there will be interest payment on debts. The last choice will be equity financing because it is the priciest financing method as compared to debt and internal financing. There are two in signaling theory which are systematic information and asymmetric information. In systematic information, both managers and investors have equal information about the business prospect, while in asymmetric information, managers will have more information than the investor. Managerial signals of more debt indicate more positive future and high quality businesses will utilize more debt, whereas low quality firms will have lower debt levels. A good firm may distinguish itself by standing out from the crowd, whereas a bad firm will not imitate since it does not want to be identified. In a nutshell, in order to deceive investors, a manager who takes on additional debt than is required will pay the price in the long run. That is all from me. Thank you and have a good day.